Nacht or untoten were just the m1911, a challenge no sane man would ever conjure up. But I'm not a sane man, and when itzcookiq said this about the challenge,
"This gun is probably the most mentally and physically painful challenge I've ever attempted."
I knew it was perfect for a guy like me, but honestly in hindsight I do wish I took all of itzcookiq's warnings and didn't do this challenge, because this challenge was draining, and by far the hardest one I've done yet. And you may have noticed I literally said that a video before this, and at the time it was true, but this challenge was something else, and I'm a changed man after this one. The buffet some you all knew and came to love died with this challenge. And before we get into this, I'm going to do the crazy sin of begging for subs. And honestly, I can't think of a witty joke to mask this sin, but I will say at the time of recording we're 10 away from 200 subscribers. And honestly that would just be an insane number to hit, so if you enjoy the video consider subscribing, but I guess I'll just let you continue with the video. I mean, it's why you're here, isn't it? So yeah, enjoy. And to start this off, I'm going to say this straight away. No, this is not possible without an infinite ammo cheat, and without it, you couldn't get past round 2. Or at a push, round 3. But before you click off, I will say, having cheats did not make this any easier, because the m1911 does a measly 20 damage, and to put that in perspective, a gun I've used previously on this map, the Kar98, does 100, and has a 2x headshot multiplier. And if you watched that video, you know why this is going to suck for me. But the m1911 does have one thing going for it, and that is the fire rate, since you can pretty much shoot as fast as you can pull the trigger, which sounds really good, but there's no such thing as a positive without a negative on this channel. And the negative came in the form of hand pains and a speedrun of carpal tunnel, because after spamming the trigger for hours straight, that's exactly what I was left with. And at the end of this video, I will say how many times I pressed the trigger in my winning attempt, and it will shock you, because well, it shocked me. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to see that. Also, I want to quickly mention my audio in World at War broke whilst I was doing this challenge. I mean, the recording picked it up just fine, which is strange, but for me, this is what it was like. Looks fun, doesn't it? And this made an already fairly creepy game even scarier, but also became more of a problem than just driving me insane with the silence, because zombies could sneak up on me with ease, and to keep this from happening I had to constantly keep turning around like some sort of schizophrenic. So, back to the challenge. And there's not really much I can say about the early game. I mean, it wasn't easy, but it also wasn't ramp worthy, but the second I hit the magic rounds of 7, 8 or 9, my success rate dropped drastically, since there was a mix of cracked up super sprinters and zombies who felt like they didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning, and the mix of these two made things really unfun for me, and I took nearly all of my downs on these rounds. So, roll the buffet some trademark death montage. I screwed myself, man. What am I doing? I think all I had to do was train there, dude. Why did I do that to myself? Why is this game generally so janky, dude? I was literally attached to him like super glue. What the actual hell, man? No. God damn it. Oh my god. Well, that was embarrassing. No, man. Oh, I'm so defeated. And after going through all the stages of grief doing this challenge, I was down to my last brain cell. And while I think this clip sums up perfectly how mushy my brain was, so yeah, I'm just going to show it. Plus, it's my favourite. No way! That is probably the dumbest way I've ever died in my whole life. How did I pull that off? I'm genuinely amazed at this point. Oh. And I don't really know what I expected when having a staring contest with a live grenade, but I promptly got my answer. And while, as you can see, this challenge had already destroyed me mentally, and I hadn't even hit the double digits yet. And just so you know, the reason I sound so defeated in these clips is because each attempt to round 8 would take about 13 to 15 minutes. Which doesn't sound that bad, but if I were to show you every attempt, the death montage would be an hour long. Yeah. I suck at zombies. But that's when it finally happened. After hours of spamming the trigger and training mindlessly, I pulled off round 10. But unfortunately, that isn't my goal for this, and itzcookiq got a crazy round 27 game, and I wouldn't rest until I got at least near that, so yeah, time to keep going. And honestly, this game went really well for me, but still it was horrific to do because from round 10 to round 15 it had taken me a whopping 30 minutes. Which is just insane, so let's do a little experiment, shall we? If you have a controller next to you right now, pick it up and press the shoot button as fast as you can for like a minute. Pause the video if you actually want to participate in this, and then just unpause once you're done. And yeah, it wasn't too fun now, was it? Now do it for 30 minutes, and yeah, I wouldn't really blame you if you didn't wanna. And just so you know, 30 minutes was a fraction of the time I did this for. This challenge fucking sucks. Thank you, itzcookiq. But still, my suffering continued, and the worst part is I had 2 pre-warnings going into this challenge. The first one was just simply not to do the challenge, and the second one was that the zombies get super strong and the challenge truly begins on round 16. And yeah, I've only just hit that round, so basically everything up to this point was just the entrance fee to do this challenge. But don't worry, because another 22 minutes later I got round 19, and I know 22 minutes is way shorter than the 30 minutes it took from round 10 to 15, but that was all dependent on insta-kills and nukes, because if I got lucky with them, I could do a 7-minute round in like 5 seconds. And whenever I got one of these drops, I felt what it was like to be on every illicit substance known to man at once, even if it were for only 30 seconds. But still, the feeling was great. Saving 7 minutes of my life in this challenge was amazing. But do you know what wasn't amazing? Going down on round 19 and losing an hour and 10 minutes of my life. I'm an idiot. I'm actually an idiot. No! Why did I pause, dude? I'm actually so dumb. That was it as well. Ah, this challenge is horrific, man. It's actually horrific. And yeah, this challenge was horrific. It sucked. And now I was set back to square one. So yeah, time to do all of it again. And just to put it in perspective, I left that game with 119,940 points, and I'd only killed 288 zombies, which is just an insane thing on its own. But if you work out how many points I got by killing the zombies, I get 17,280. And I take that away from the whole subtotal, I'm left with 102,660. Then I divide that by 10, since that's how many points I got per shot, and I'm left with 10,226, and then we divide all of that by 3, and we get our final number of 3,422. And that magic number is how many times I pressed the trigger in this run alone. Stupid, right? And keep in mind, this number does not include how many times I missed and how many times I shot 1 or 2 zombies, because I divided it by 3 because that's how many zombies the one bullet of the M1911 will pierce, giving me 30 points per shot. So yeah, this number could have been a lot higher. And this is the point in every video where I'm just completely defeated by the challenge. And I got the round 19 game pretty early on. And after that, I was grinding for like 3 days straight, with next to no luck. And I did get a round 14 game, but I learned why playing zombies at 2 AM was a bad idea, since I forgot to hit record, so thank God that wasn't the run. But still, I was getting to round 10 most games and then just dying. It was awful. And this was the point where the hand pains really started to set in. It felt like my knuckles were like rusty and they really started to slow down, which in turn slowed down my DPS, making my games much longer. And in my sorrow, I was listening to music while playing my games, and this random song from the Red Dead soundtrack, which is a soundtrack I'd never listened to, came on. And damn, it was a bop. Honestly, it made playing the games just a little bit more fun and just kept me going. So with a mix of Michael Kiwanuka, that Red Dead song, and some videos from Dr. Donut, I pushed through. And now is the point in every video where we can all see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the light at the end of the tunnel got even brighter when I beat round 19. And it was even faster than the first time I did it, since I did it in like 55 minutes. And honestly, I was so defeated, so no matter what round I got in this game, I was just going to be happy with it and make a video. But the thing that sucked was round 20 was the halfway point to round 27. But still, I kept grinding, and after a good while, I made it to round 25, only 2 rounds away from tying with itzcookiq's round. And honestly, it'll be the first time in Buffetsome history that I matched someone's round or beat someone at their own challenge. But despite all of the hand pains and my boredom, I tied with itzcookiq, and it felt good. But honestly, now it begs the question, can I finally beat him at his own challenge? For once in my life. And beat him I did, and you can hear the joy in my voice to be finally rid of this god-awful challenge. Also, sorry in advance, itzcookiq. You'll see why I'm saying sorry in a minute. That goddamn insta-kill. How yes. Screw you, itzcookiq. I've done it. Screw you, itzcookiq. Screw you. I'm the better zombies YouTuber. Ha 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 ha. God, I already feel bad, I'm sorry. And now that I had finally beat round 27, it's time to see how far I can take this. And honestly, knowing me, I didn't think that I'd make it much further than this. But I think we'd all be surprised. And I just want to quickly point out how many points I have at this time, because no one should ever have 285,470 points at round 28. That is just stupid, it's just so dumb. But after way too much time, I actually got to round 30, which is just so crazy to me even now. But this is the point where the challenge steps into impossible territory, because the zombies just would not die no matter how many rounds I shot into them, and the challenge had officially stopped dead. But I'm stupid, and I decided to keep going. I'd end this challenge when they end me. And I want to quickly go over the strategy that got me this far, in case for some unknown reason you actually want to attempt this challenge for yourself. And the strat is pretty simple, and it goes like this. You basically start off the round hoping to God that you survive hoarding them up, and there is basically some RNG to this though, because you want a majority of the zombies to come out of the top window, because if they all come from the bottom window, you can get cut off very easily, leading to your death, but that's out of your control. But once you've hoarded them up, you only have to do a few simple steps, and that is to lead them around this little thing, I don't really know what to call it, then lead them to the pit by the window, and these two spots are the main bits where you want to unload your pistol and do the most amount of damage. And then after all that, you run to these pillars, you count them 1, 2, and when you hit the second one, you run to the start and repeat. Also, the reason you want to count the pillars is because if you don't and you go too far back, this shelving rack will trap you and then you're just as good as dead. So that's the strategy behind doing this challenge, but still I heavily urge you not to do this challenge because it just sucks. So yeah, just spare yourself from this mess, you don't want this. So with that really long explanation, you may have noticed that we're still on round 30, and yeah, it takes a while. But to spare you, I'm going to be using my godly editing powers to skip to round 31. And poof, we're now on round 31. And I think it's time to reveal that this is the round of my demise. But honestly, I was just glad that this was over. And now that my final game has concluded, it's time to reveal how many times I pressed the trigger. And that number is 12,510. Yeah, my hand fucking hurts. And another crazy thing is, I left that game with 405,000 points. Which is just crazy. I mean, do you know the things you could do with that many points? Well, if you don't, I'm gonna tell you. With that money, you can pack a punch 81 different guns, and if you're on Black Ops 3 and you just can't find the right ammo type, don't worry, because you can repack a punch the same gun 160 times. And even crazier than that, buckle up for this one, because you can open every single door on nacht, untoten, Doris, Shino Numa, Varrocked, and that's World at War done. Onto Black Ops 1, you can open every door on Kino, 5, Ascension, Shang, Call of the Dead, and Moon. That's Black Ops 1 done. Let's move over to Black Ops 3. You can open every door on Shadows, The Giant, The Rising Drak, Garage Crovey, Zetsubo, and Revelations. And the only reason we stopped there is because I got bored of trying to figure out how much doors cost. So yeah, this amount of points is just insane. And after all that spending, we're still left with 252,750 points. So yeah, we didn't even spend half of them. It's just a really stupid number. And quickly before we do the outro, I want to say when I mean every door, I meant it, because I included things like every single drop down barrier on all the maps, and the tram on Shadows and the elevators on 5. So yeah, the number was just still stupid. So, it's time for the outro. Time for me to go off script and just talk to you guys for a little bit. So I want to start off this outro by saying thank you to everyone who stuck around this long. I mean, this video is way longer than the ones I put out usually, so if you stuck around, thank you. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to itzcookiq because this challenge is that bad and no man should have to suffer like I did doing this without any recognition. So his link will be in the description, or his video will be like the end card at the end of the video. Also, I have a Discord now if you do want to join, but honestly, it's quite strange in there. Personally, I wouldn't join, but if you want to join, it's there. The link's there if you want to, I guess. Also, if you want to subscribe, it will help me a lot in doing this full time. I mean, I'm nearly at 200 subs, which would just be a crazy number to hit, so if you feel kind enough, you can. Also, if you have any challenge ideas, leave them in the comments down below. There's a good chance I'll do them. I mean, I'm quite starched for ideas. I steal them off everyone. But other than that, I guess, see ya.